Share his firsthand account of that rally is our former intern, Bryan Terry. He is joining us from our Middletown bureau tonight. Hi, Bryan.
Hi, Liz.
It's great to see you. So, okay, tell me just your basic experience. What was it like down there?
It was pretty crazy. There was obviously a lot of people. I think something that you don't notice by watching it on TV is how, in addition to the National Mall, like it sprawled out onto the streets, surrounding, and obviously crowd estimates vary. But something that in your introduction that one of the things that I noticed that the age range was. It varied, surprisingly varied. I talked to people from in their 20s all the way up to in their 60s and saw people that looked to be even older than that. I talked to a couple elementary school teachers who were in their 60s from North Carolina, as well as some people, younger people who did attend college. And so I think that was actually one thing that surprised me, was that there was actually a lot more age variation than I had anticipated going in.
The point, though, also is that we saw the president go on with Jon Stewart, which was historic. And did it make you feel, and you happen to be, and I know pretty well, an unusually astute and tuned-in person from a political standpoint at your age, but did it make you feel like you wanted to run out and vote and get engaged in politics again?
Well, it's tough to kind of say that, like you said, from kind of my perspective as someone who studies political science. Talking to people, friends and other people on campus about it, I didn't see that sort of reaction. Even with the rally, a lot of people, there were several people who went, but a lot of people were planning on watching it on TV. But when I came home, they still hadn't watched it. They're like, oh, I'll get around, I'll watch it on the computer, I'll watch the interview on the computer one of these days. But it wasn't something that that instigated people, getting them interested and getting them right out to vote.
There's a story in the New York Times today that talks about the loss of momentum among young voters in the Obama administration. And actually, 2 years ago, the president won 66% of the 18 to 29-year-old vote, which was historic. You don't hear people on Marist campus talking about going out to vote. What is it going to take for young voters to get re-inspired? If it's not going to take a rally like this, what is it going to take?
I think that it's difficult to say what it would take. It's obviously midterm elections. Already the youth don't pay attention as much as they do in normal presidential elections, and as we saw so much in that particular presidential election from the youth, that the only direction it really could go was downward. And I think that kind of the divisiveness of the past 2 years, maybe if for people who were paying attention, for students who were paying attention, kind of has turned them off from it, whether it was the arguments over the passage of the health care bill or financial reform, kind of this Tea Party movement kind of deal where, the media, anti-media, and kind of you see a lot of this kind of fighting going on. And I think that kind of turns a lot of students off from kind of the hope and change message that Obama had brought back 2 years ago. Okay,
real quick in parting, what was your favorite moment from that rally? Because I saw some Jimmy McMillan shout-outs there.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's a couple of signs that, the fear is too damn high, and there was also a Palladino, I'm rational as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore unless you convince me rationally, or something like that. Yeah, I enjoyed looking at the signs. In terms of what was going on stage, the crowd was so big that from where I was, I couldn't see everything, but everybody kind of hushed when Jon Stewart went into kind of his last speech about bringing rationality to the media, and I thought that was really interesting, and I thought that was one of the high points of the rally, was this point where you had 250,000 people, give or take, on the mall, and most of them were pretty intensely listening to what he had to say.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have, but I want to thank you very much, Intern Bryan. You'll always be Intern Bryan to me. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Liz.
Okay, in the meantime, we have